Hello everybody, it's Kara from Wild Book Garden, and today I'm here with my spoiler-free review for Protecting Her Heart by Nancy Campbell Allen. This is the third and final book in a series of companion books. They're all proper romances, and I did receive this arc in exchange for an honest review. The book actually has already come out. I was a little late getting this review up, so apologies for that. But I will put content warnings in the description as always, and as I said, this is the third and final book, so I'm going to give my spoiler-free thoughts on this book specifically, and then at the end I'll just mention like a couple of things about the series as a whole, but most of this is not going to be like a whole series review. Yeah, so we are following the third of these three cousins who we have been following in each of these books. Our main character in this one is Charlotte, and she has just come back from training in America as a doctor. These books are set in England, but she went overseas to study and to get a degree as a doctor because it was one of the few like schools that accepted women as doctors or as like medical students, and so she did that. She had been working there. But then she gets a really strange letter from her father about some possible secrets and danger, and basically him apologizing for getting her into this dangerous thing, this mystery, and she doesn't know what this is about. And also she finds out that her father is very sick and that she needs to go back right away because they think he's going to die soon, and so she does that. She packs up, she leaves, but she's actually too late. So she gets there for her father's funeral, and in addition to just like the grieving process and kind of organizing things, getting his affairs in order, she's also now trying to figure out like, what is this secret? What is this mystery that he had been talking about? And she thinks it may have had something to do with her mother, and with her mother's death. So Charlotte is trying to figure this out, along with the help of John Ellis, who is her best friend, and he's the director of the like investigation unit or whatever that the other two heroes are involved in, and so they've been friends since the first book. This third book is actually set 5 or 6 years, I think, after the first one. John and Charlotte have pretty much been good friends ever since then. They really respect each other, they get along great, and John is helping Charlotte to kind of figure out this mystery and like work on this case. And yeah, of course, along the way they start figuring that maybe these feelings are not strictly friendship. Yeah, so I really enjoyed this one. I think this might be tied for my favorite. Like, I think that the romance of the first book still worked for me a tiny bit better, but I actually think the plot of this third one is my favorite. I thought the like mystery element was just really interesting and really well done, and I really liked the way that Charlotte approached it. Like, she's a really intelligent person, and so you see that in the way that she like looks at these risks that she's taking or not taking, and, you know, like asking people for help when she needs it. And of course she does still get into trouble, like there are still bad things that happen, but it doesn't feel like she's making stupid mistakes, which was really nice, especially because again we know she's really smart and we're told that and we're shown that. And I also just love Charlotte as a main character. I also really loved John. I really enjoyed their interactions and their growing friendship and relationship, or actually not growing friendship because they've been friends for a long time, but they're just kind of figuring out that like maybe they have romantic feelings for each other too, which is understandably very complicated. Like, I feel like the conflict and the tension for why they don't want to risk it makes a lot of sense because it has to do with like their professional lives, and especially I think on Charlotte's side because she is not like allowed to practice as a nurse or a doctor if she's married, and that's like her dream. That's what she's been working towards, and I also feel like the way that that was handled at the end of the book, I liked it. I thought it was done well. And you guys know that like friends to lovers is not usually a trope I don't want to say it's not one I like because there are enough exceptions at this point that I don't know if that's true, but it's not one that I automatically like, if that makes sense. Like, I have to be won over a little more than with some other romantic tropes, but I liked this one a lot. I thought their relationship was set up really well, and I feel like it was a really good balance of us believing their connection and their friendship without spending so much time on that part that it feels like, okay, I see why they're friends, but I don't see why they would be like romantic interests for each other. And it was really funny seeing in both their perspectives, because we get both of their perspectives. It was really funny like seeing them be like, no, like we're not, like our friends tease us, but like we're not interested in each other like that. We're just really good friends who sometimes think about kissing each other, and it's fine. So it's hilarious to kind of follow that trajectory. I also really like that we see Charlotte's cousins, like these two other women who, like, they're like this trio of cousins who are also basically best friends, and I love them. I loved getting to see them again. I loved seeing that Charlotte really has this like support network of people who respect her and care about her, and I also really liked seeing that she has like colleagues and like other acquaintances or friends outside of like the main characters of the books. Like, they're obviously not as prominent in the story as, like, you know, some of the other main characters or like the main characters of other books, but I like that we get this kind of fully fleshed out like cast of characters. And I also have consistently really enjoyed the writing style of these books. I feel like it's that perfect amount of historical detail, and like it's flavored sort of in the time period. It's in the Victorian era, but it doesn't feel like reading a classic, but it's also not like so modern that it's like distracting. Like, I know that there's like, it's very hard to explain like where that kind of sweet spot is, but I feel like this is one of the many ways that authors can do it well, or do it in a way that I enjoy. I really have enjoyed these books and their writing, and yeah, like I give this 4.5 stars, but like thinking about it, I can't really think of things that I would have wanted like different or changed, so maybe I'll bump it up. But like, I really enjoyed this. I think it was a really solid end to the series. As I said, it might even be my favorite, I'm not sure. And another thing about the like writing and like the characters and everything is I mentioned at the beginning that this is a proper romance series, so there's no explicit scenes, but I feel like these books are a really great example of how you can have a romance that does not involve explicit scenes and it's still like very romantic, and they still have great chemistry, and there's still some great like romantic moments like between the characters. Like, I think these books are just a really great example of how being a proper romance doesn't mean that something doesn't have a well-developed romance or that the characters don't have chemistry together. So yeah, I thought this was great, and as you can probably tell from what I've been saying, like the series overall I really enjoyed, like this trilogy of books. I love the 3 heroines. I love the like leading men. I think that their relationships are done well. I like the mystery elements to sort of like varying degrees. Like, as I said, my favorite mystery is this one, and then my second favorite would be the first one. But even with the second book, there were a lot of things that I liked about it. I consistently enjoy the writing. I really like the way that these books like look at the time period and different like social issues in a way that feels very like effortless and like woven into the story very well. I really like that we are following these 3 women who are working women. Like, this is kind of at that sort of time of transition in the Victorian era where it was just barely starting to become more acceptable for women who are not in the poorer classes to like actually work for a living. Like, it's still not like the done thing. Like, it's not like something that every young woman is doing, but it is starting to happen more. And so I really liked seeing these women sort of like band together and do that. I loved that. Like, the female friendship in these books, in case you can't tell, is fantastic, and it's one of my favorite things. Yeah, so I think that is everything. As I said, I gave Protecting Her Heart 4.5 stars. The book is out. Let me know if you have read it or if you're interested. Let me know if you're interested in the series. Like, I just consistently have really enjoyed these. And also, I should have mentioned this too. One of the things that I love about Charlotte's characterization is that, like I said, she's incredibly intelligent. She's a doctor. She's just like brilliant woman. And she obviously is very good with like the sciences and details and all these things, but she is not that like stereotypical historical female character where it's like, because she's in the sciences, she has to like hate all other women or think that, you know, enjoying wearing a dress makes you like stupid or anti-feminist, you know, because that happens a lot, unfortunately, in historical books. So I love that Charlotte didn't do that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you soon with another video, and I hope you love the next book you read. Bye!